All right, so we're diving into a world where new doesn't always mean improved.
Ooh, I like that.
We're going to be taking a look at this Good Mystical Morning episode,
Okay.
where Rhett and Link, the hosts, try out some really interesting new kitchen gadgets
Hmm.
and, well, some not-so-kitchen-y things, too.
Right.
You got to love their comedic approach to testing out new stuff.
Yeah, their energy is great, and they're not afraid to put these miracle products up against the tried and true methods.
Yeah,
Sometimes the results are laugh out loud funny, but it also makes you think.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they kick things off with a pizza challenge.
Okay.
Who doesn't love pizza?
Right.
But getting that perfectly cooked pie out of the oven can be a bit tricky.
Yeah, for sure.
They put a traditional pizza peel head-to-head with this new fangled slide board pizza peel that's been making the rounds on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Have you seen those?
Yeah, they're long and flexible.
Yeah.
Almost like a really, really big spatula.
Yeah.
It's supposed to make sliding pizzas in and out of the oven like a piece of cake. Uh-huh.
You know, unlike those rigid wooden peels we're used to.
Rhett was giving it the side eye right from the start.
Oh, really?
He even joked that it looked like something you'd use in a wood shop.
Interesting.
But the real surprise came during the cleaning test.
Okay.
They got ketchup all over that slide board,
Uh-huh.
and it wiped right off.
Oh, wow.
And then they tried water,
Okay.
which also worked well at first. But after a few wipes, you could see these streaks, or as they put it, stretch marks on the board.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if those stretch marks came from, like, tiny abrasions on the surface of the slide board.
Yeah,
Like they wouldn't be visible to the naked eye.
right.
But repeated cleaning, especially with water,
Yeah.
might have exposed those microscopic scratches.
Good point.
Yeah.
Now, Link seemed to like the slide board overall, praising how easy it was to use. But Rhett kept going back to how easy it was to clean.
And both of them weren't totally convinced that it worked any better than a regular peel,
Yeah.
especially when it came to transferring fresh dough, which tends to be a bit stickier.
Right.
It makes you wonder if sometimes these new products focus on features that aren't really the main issue.
Absolutely. It highlights a key question. Is a new product actually solving a problem?
Right.
Or is it just offering a slightly different way of doing something? I mean, we've been using regular pizza peels for ages, and they work just fine.
So true. Okay, now for a change of pace, let's whip up some dessert, literally.
Okay.
We've got Rhett, armed with a good old-fashioned whisk, going up against Link, who's rocking a high-tech ISI whipped cream maker.
Ooh, fancy.
It uses these little nitrous cartridges, kind of like what they use at coffee shops.
Yeah.
You know.
So the ISI is supposed to make like perfect whipped cream in seconds.
Wow.
Just by pressing a lever.
Okay.
The nitrous oxide is forced into the cream, creating those tiny air bubbles that give whipped cream. It's fluffy texture. Sounds super convenient, right?
You'd think so, but let's just say things got a little messy.
Uh-oh.
Link accidentally dispensed the cream and ended up with the whipped cream explosion.
Oh, no.
It got everywhere on his hands, in his hair, even on the ceiling.
Oh, my goodness.
And to top it all off, he managed to cut his finger on the metal tip of the dispenser.
Oh, no.
You could actually see a little bit of blood.
Ouch.
And here's where things get interesting. The instructions didn't specifically say, don't press the lever too hard, or you'll shoot whipped cream across the room and possibly impale yourself.
Oh, my God.
It highlights the fact that even with seemingly foolproof gadgets, user error is a real thing,
Right.
especially when you're dealing with pressurized canisters.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rhett was still diligently whisking away, but let's be honest, no human can whisk as fast as a pressurized dispenser.
Right.
But they both pointed out a problem with the ISI. It was hard to tell how much whipped cream was actually inside.
Oh, really?
You could end up with a lot more or a lot less than you bargained for.
Huh. So that brings up a good point about innovation.
Yeah.
Sometimes the pursuit of speed and convenience can come at the cost of control and precision.
And a few drops of blood, apparently.
Yeah.
But despite the mess, the injury, and the unpredictable yields, they still declared the ISI the new tool winner.
Oh.
I guess there's just something irresistible about instant whipped cream.
Yeah, I guess so.
Speaking of instants, have you ever wanted to skateboard without, an actual skateboard?
It sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what they test next. The Sharper Image boardless skateboard.
The what?
The boardless skateboard. It's basically two platforms that you strap to your feet.
Oh.
supposedly allowing you to glide around like you're on a real skateboard.
Wow.
The commercial makes it look so easy, but
Yeah, the reality was far from effortless.
oh no.
Rhett and Link could barely stand on those things.
Oh my gosh.
They needed to hold on to each other for balance.
Yeah.
And their movements were so awkward and jerky. It was like watching baby giraffes trying to ice skate.
Ah,
And here's where the hazard label comes in.
okay.
Without the stability of a traditional board, the potential for falls and injuries skyrockets.
Right.
They even joked that instead of Sharper Image, the company should be called Duller Image after this product.
Ouch.
I guess that sums up how well it worked.
Yeah.
They even compared trying to use it to some kind of weird ritualistic dance where you're constantly on the verge of falling over.
Interesting.
In the end, they decided that good old-fashioned skateboarding with an actual board was the way to go.
Yeah, sometimes the classics are classics for a reason.
Sometimes the classics are classics for a reason.
It makes you wonder if the designers of the boardless skateboard actually considered how people use a skateboard.
Right.
Like, did they think about balance, stability,
Right.
and, not breaking your ankles? It's like they took the fun out of skateboarding and replaced it with, well, potential for injury.
And that's a wrap on part 1 of our deep dive. It seems like innovation isn't always about making things better. Sometimes it's about making them different, and not always in a good way.
Yeah,
But hey, at least we got some laughs along the way, right?
for sure.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll unpack some more of Rhett and Link's adventures in the world of new tools versus old school.
Sounds good.
Welcome back. It's amazing how a seemingly simple product, like a skateboard, can become so complicated when you try to reinvent it.
Oh, yeah.
Makes you appreciate those classic designs that have stood the test of time.
Yeah, those designers kind of forgot the whole point of a skateboard.
Yeah.
To have fun and, not end up in the emergency room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's not write off all innovation just yet.
Okay.
Remember that slide board pizza peel?
Yeah.
Sure, it might not be a revolutionary invention,
Right.
but that easy cleaning feature is pretty darn appealing.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, who hasn't struggled to get caked on cheese and sauce off a traditional pizza peel?
Yeah. So true. I'm with you on that one. Sometimes it's those small, practical improvements that make a real difference in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they took a common frustration and found a simple, elegant solution.
Right.
And who knows, maybe that same material could be used for other kitchen tools that are prone to getting messy.
You're talking, imagine a self-cleaning spatula or a baking sheet that repels even the stickiest of messes.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a game changer.
That would be awesome.
But speaking of messy, we can't forget Link's little whipped cream mishap.
Oh, yeah. Right?
It was funny, sure,
Yeah.
but it also served as a reminder that these newfangled gadgets can be a bit unpredictable.
Absolutely. It's almost like there's a trade-off sometimes between convenience and control.
Yeah.
That ISI whipped cream maker was super fast,
Uh-huh.
but it also had the potential to go haywire, especially if you weren't careful with that trigger.
It made me think about all the kitchen tools that have evolved over time.
Okay.
Like can openers used to be these clunky, dangerous things.
Yep.
But now we have smooth-edged, ergonomic ones that make opening a can a breeze.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But even with those improvements, you still have to be mindful of how you use them.
Right.
A sharp blade is a sharp blade, no matter how fancy the design.
That's such a good point. It's easy to get caught up in the bells and whistles of a new gadget,
Right.
but we can't forget about the importance of basic safety and common sense.
Yeah.
Whether you're using a high-tech blender or a simple paring knife, you have to respect the tool and use it responsibly.
It's like that old saying, a fool with a tool is still a fool.
Right.
But in all seriousness, I think there's a valuable lesson here about the learning curve that comes with any new tool or technology.
Yeah.
We can't expect to master something instantly, and sometimes those mishaps and mistakes are the best teachers.
I couldn't agree more. Think about the first time you tried to use a chef's knife.
Yeah.
It probably felt awkward and unwieldy, and you might have even nicked yourself a few times.
Right.
But with practice, you gained confidence and precision, and now you probably wield that knife like a pro.
It's all about respecting the process and embracing those aha moments that come along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, if you happen to have a whipped cream explosion or two in the process, at least you'll have a funny story to tell.
Exactly. And speaking of stories, this whole episode has me thinking about the power of storytelling in the world of food.
Yeah.
Rhett and Link do such a great job of weaving humor and information together, making it entertaining and engaging.
Uh-huh.
They don't just show you how a product works, they take you on a journey complete with mishaps, discoveries, and plenty of laughs.
It's like they're saying, hey, come along for the ride. We're going to try this crazy new thing. And who knows what's going to happen.
Right.
But we're going to have fun doing it, and you're invited to join the party.
And that's what makes learning so enjoyable.
Yeah.
When we can connect with the material on an emotional level, whether it's through laughter, curiosity, or even a little bit of fear, like when Link was wielding that whipped cream dispenser,
Yeah.
it's more likely to stick with us.
It's like those history lessons that were brought to life with vivid stories and colorful characters. Suddenly, those dates and names weren't just dry facts. They were part of a larger narrative that captured our imaginations.
Exactly. And I think that's what Rhett and Link do so well. They
Wow.
take these everyday objects, pizza peels, whipped cream makers, even boardless skateboards, and turn them into vehicles for storytelling humor and even a bit of wisdom.
Yeah.
They remind us that even the most mundane things can be fascinating and fun if you approach them with the right attitude.
And that attitude, my friend, is one of curiosity, open-mindedness, and a willingness to laugh at ourselves along the way.
Yeah.
So the next time you're faced with a new gadget or a challenging recipe channel, your inner Rhett and Link.
Okay.
Embrace the unknown, expect the unexpected, and most importantly, have a blast doing it.
I love that. So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, let's keep that playful spirit in mind.
Okay.
We've explored the pros and cons of innovation, the importance of safety and common sense, and the power of storytelling in the kitchen.
Now it's time to turn our attention to you, dear listener. We've seen Rhett and Link's take on these newfangled products, but now we want to hear your thoughts. We've seen some pretty interesting gadgets today, but let's shift gears for a minute and tap into your creative side.
Okay.
Imagine you're in charge of inventing the next must-have kitchen gadget.
Ooh.
What problem are you solving?
Okay.
What would make your invention stand out from the crowd?
That's a fantastic challenge. It really gets you thinking about the things we take for granted in the kitchen.
Exactly, like we all use can openers.
Right.
But they can be tricky, especially for people with limited hand strength or dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
What if you could reinvent the can opener
Okay.
to be safer, more efficient, and maybe even a little bit fun to use?
Now that you mention it, I've always thought it would be cool to have a can opener that automatically separates the lid from the can.
Ooh.
You know, eliminating that sharp edge.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And maybe you could even have a built-in magnet
Oh.
to catch the lid so it doesn't fall into the can.
Right.
No more fishing it out with your fingers.
I love that it's amazing how a simple prompt can spark so much creativity.
Yeah.
It reminds us that innovation is all around us waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most brilliant ideas come from simply observing everyday tasks and asking, how can we make this better?
Right.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will come up with the next game-changing kitchen invention.
I wouldn't be surprised, but even if we don't all become famous inventors, I think this exercise highlights a key takeaway from our deep dive today.
Okay.
It's important to never stop questioning, exploring, and seeking out those aha moments that make learning so rewarding.
Couldn't agree more, whether it's discovering a new kitchen gadget, rediscovering the value of a simple tool, or even just having a good laugh at a whipped cream mishap. It's all part of the journey.
Speaking of journeys, it's been a real pleasure exploring the world of new food products and gadgets with you today.
Likewise, and I have to say, Rhett and Link's infectious enthusiasm was contagious.
Oh, yeah.
They reminded us that learning doesn't have to be stuffy or serious.
Right.
It can be filled with laughter, playfulness, and a healthy dose of skepticism.
Absolutely. They brought a refreshing energy to the whole process, making it feel like we were right there in the kitchen with them, sharing the excitement and the occasional disaster.
It was like they were saying, hey, let's all be kids again and try this crazy new thing.
Mhm.
Even if it doesn't work out perfectly, at least we'll have a good story to tell.
And isn't that what it's all about? Finding joy in the everyday, embracing the learning process and sharing those experiences with others.
Yeah.
Whether it's a successful culinary experiment or a hilarious kitchen mishap, it's those moments of shared laughter and discovery that truly make life richer and more meaningful.
Beautifully said. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's keep those insights close to heart.
Okay.
Embrace innovation, but don't be afraid to stick with what works.
Right.
And never underestimate the power of a good laugh,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to kitchen mishaps.
And most importantly, never stop questioning, exploring, and seeking out those aha moments that make the journey of learning so rewarding. Whether it's discovering a new kitchen gadget or rediscovering the value of a simple tool, there's always something new to learn and appreciate in the world of food and innovation.
Couldn't said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another adventure in the fascinating world of knowledge and discovery. Until then, keep those creative juices flowing and happy cooking.